What is the active chemical compound in every bottle of commercial doe urine on the shelf at your hunting store? Because the answer is not a secret. It is ammonia. The same compound sitting in a $3-gallon jug under your kitchen sink. Deer urine contains urea, a nitrogen-based waste product that begins breaking down into ammonia the moment it leaves the deer's body. An enzyme called urease, produced by soil bacteria, converts the urea into ammonia and carbon dioxide within hours. By the time a commercial bottle of doe urine has been collected from a deer farm, processed, shipped across the country in an unrefrigerated truck, stored in a warehouse for 2 to 6 months, and placed on a shelf at Cabela's or Bass Pro for another 1 to 3 months, the urea has largely converted to ammonia anyway. You are buying ammonia in a fancy bottle with a deer on the label. The jug at the hardware store contains the same compound at a higher concentration for a fraction of the price. A gallon of standard household ammonia costs $3 to $4. A 1-ounce bottle of Tink 69 Doe and Rut costs $12. Code Blue Doe Estrus costs $18 for 2 ounces. Mrs. Doe P runs $20 for 2 ounces. Wildlife Research Center's Special Golden Estrus is $15 for 4 ounces. 1 gallon of ammonia, diluted at the correct ratio, provides enough attractant for 200 individual applications across 2 to 3 full seasons. The commercial equivalent for the same number of applications would cost roughly $600 to $900 depending on the brand. I spent 28 years buying commercial urine products before a retired wildlife biologist, on an Archery Talk forum thread, explained the chemistry to me in a way that made my stomach turn. Not because the information was new, because the math on what I had spent was not. I ran the numbers and came up with roughly $4,200 over 28 seasons on commercial deer urine. My wife did not react well when I told her. She asked if I had at least gotten a volume discount. I had not. I want to address the obvious question before we go any further. If ammonia works as well as commercial urine, why does nobody talk about it? The answer is money. A pro staffer with a sponsorship deal from a commercial scent company cannot go on camera and tell you to buy a gallon of ammonia at the hardware store. That recommendation ends his sponsorship the same day. The hunting media ecosystem is funded by scent product advertising. Magazines, TV shows, YouTube channels with sponsor relationships, all of them depend on scent company revenue. I am not sponsored by any scent company. I buy my own products and I test them against alternatives. That is why I can tell you what the sponsored guys cannot. If you have switched from commercial urine to ammonia and tracked the results on camera, I want to hear the data. Stay until the end, because there is a specific combination of diluted ammonia plus 1 additional scent compound that replicates the complete biological signal of a doe, standing and urinating at a scrape, and no commercial product on the market sells both compounds together because they cannot be stored in the same bottle without reacting. The surface understanding of ammonia in hunting is that it is a cleaning product that repels deer. That is correct if you use it at full strength. Undiluted household ammonia at roughly 5 to 10% concentration produces a caustic, eye-watering scent that no living creature approaches willingly. A deer that encounters full-strength ammonia at a scrape interprets it the same way you would interpret the smell of bleach in a restaurant. Something is wrong here, and I should leave. The deeper understanding is that the dilution ratio changes everything. 1 part ammonia to 10 parts water produces a concentration that approximates the ammonia content of aged doe urine, roughly 0.5 to 1% ammonia in solution. At that concentration, the scent reads to a deer's 297 million olfactory receptors as a communication signal, not a chemical hazard. A doe urinating at a scrape deposits urine that begins converting to ammonia immediately. Within 6 to 12 hours, the ammonia concentration at the scrape site is in the range of 0.3 to 0.8%, depending on temperature and bacterial activity. The 1 to 10 dilution puts your hardware store ammonia right in that biological window. I tested this on my southern Iowa property, that rolling agricultural and hardwood timber country between Bloomfield and Centerville, where the creek bottoms wind between bean fields and the deer density is among the highest in the Midwest. I built 4 mock scrapes, which are patches of cleared dirt about 2 feet across, roughly the size of a truck tire, with a licking branch hung 4 to 5 feet above, roughly the height of a doorframe. 2 scrapes got 3 to 5 drops of diluted ammonia in the bare soil. 2 scrapes got Tink 69 Downwind rut at $12 per bottle, applied the same way. Over 4 weeks in October, the ammonia scrapes had 16 buck investigations on camera. The Tink scrapes had 14. The difference was within the margin of noise on a 4 scrape test. The ammonia performed comparably to the $12 commercial product for roughly 2 cents worth of material per application. I need to be fair here. During peak rut, the first 2 weeks of November, a truly fresh bottle of commercial dough estrus, collected within 30 days and shipped refrigerated, may contain pheromone compounds, specifically estradiol metabolites and progesterone breakdown products that diluted ammonia does not replicate. Ammonia mimics the urea breakdown component of urine. It does not mimic the reproductive hormone component. During the 10 to 12 days of peak breeding activity, a fresh estrus product may outperform ammonia. Outside of that narrow window, from September through late October and again from mid-November through December, the ammonia performs as well as or better than commercial urine because the deer are responding to the territorial communication signal, which is ammonia-based. I use ammonia for 90% of the season and save 1 fresh bottle of Mrs. Doe Pea at $20, shipped refrigerated, for the first week of November. That is the only commercial urine purchase I make all year. Quick pause here. Everything I just walked through, and 100 more tricks like it, is sitting inside the Buck Hunter's Bible, 2026 edition, 280 pages of the stuff that actually puts deer on the ground. And right now, if you grab it, I am throwing in the 3-0 day opening day roadmap completely free. That is a 60-page day-by-day preseason plan that walks you from the first scout to opening morning, so you start this season ahead of every other hunter in the woods. Link in the description, QR code on screen. This is the season you stop guessing. The application method matters more than the product. Ammonia applied to bare ground in a scrape works because the soil absorbs and slowly releases the compound at deer nose level. Ammonia applied to a hanging wick or cotton ball above the scrape does not work because it produces an overwhelmingly strong and directionally wrong scent signal. Natural deer urine comes from below, from the ground where the doe stood. A wick hanging 4 feet in the air smells like ammonia coming from above, which no natural deer signal ever does. Ground application mimics the biological event. Hanging application mimics a household cleaner. Same product, completely different result based entirely on where you put it. I made this mistake my first season testing ammonia. I soaked a cotton ball and hung it on a wick like I would with commercial urine. 0 buck investigations in 2 weeks. Moved the same diluted ammonia to the ground in the scrape dirt. First buck investigation within 48 hours. The wick method failed so completely that I almost gave up on ammonia entirely. The ground application was what saved the test. I want to explain why the wick fails, because understanding this prevents the most common mistake. A cotton ball, hanging 4 feet in the air, releases ammonia vapor into the air column above the scrape. A deer, approaching from downwind, detects a cloud of ammonia floating above a scrape. That scent pattern does not exist in nature, because deer urinate downward, not upward. The scent from natural urination pools in and on the ground, and releases slowly from the soil surface. The deer's brain processes scent signals with spatial awareness, meaning it can determine whether a scent originates from ground level or above. The University of Georgia's Deer Lab has documented that whitetails process olfactory signals with directional information. Ammonia from below means a deer was here. Ammonia from above means something is wrong. Same molecule, different direction, different behavioral response. A buddy who hunts the mountain and valley country of Southwest Virginia, that steep Appalachian hardwood terrain along the New River, where the ridges run 3,000 feet and the hollows between them hold thick stands of rhododendron, tested the same diluted ammonia on 3 cold scrapes, which are primary scrapes that bucks have stopped visiting, on his property. He freshened each scrape with 3 to 5 drops of the 1 to 10 solution and lightly re-raked the soil with a stick from the area. His trail cameras showed resumed buck activity at 2 of the 3 scrapes within 24 to 48 hours. The reactivated scrapes read as a new visitor, triggering the same territorial investigation response that created the original scrapes months earlier. His words, not mine, and 2 properties in 2 states are not proof. But the pattern is consistent with what the chemistry predicts. Ammonia does not degrade on the shelf. This is the part that should make you angry at your scent cabinet. Natural deer urine begins degrading within weeks of collection. Bacteria break down the urea compounds, the pH changes, and the biological signals that make fresh urine attractive become unrecognizable. A commercial bottle that sat in a warehouse for 3 months, then in a store for 2 months, then in your truck console for another month, has lost most of its biological activity by the time you open it. You are applying degraded protein soup to a scrape and expecting a breeding response. Ammonia is chemically stable. A bottle of ammonia purchased today is identical in chemistry to the same bottle purchased 2 years from now. No refrigeration needed, no shelf life concerns, no degradation. The product you apply in November is the same product you mixed in August. Ammonia is legal in every CWD-restricted state. This is the point that matters most for hunters in Michigan, Wisconsin, Minnesota, Pennsylvania, Vermont, and the growing list of states that have banned natural cervid urine products due to CWD prion transmission risk. Chronic wasting disease prions are transmitted through cervid biological material, including urine. Commercial deer urine collected from captive deer populations cannot be guaranteed CWD-free, regardless of testing protocols, because prion detection has sensitivity limits. Ammonia contains 0 biological material from any animal. There is 0 possibility of CWD transmission from ammonia. 0. A hunter in a CWD-restricted state who used commercial doe urine for 20 years and had it taken away by regulation has a legal, chemically similar, indefinitely stable alternative at the hardware store for $3. If you hunt in a CWD state and did not know this, tell me I am wrong. I will read every response. Look, I am going to be straight with you. Everything I am walking through in this video is just a small piece of what is inside the Buck Hunter's Bible, 2026 edition. 280 pages. 101 field-tested tricks. And right now, you also get the 3-0 day opening day roadmap free with it. A 6-0-page day-by-day plan that gets you ready before the season even starts. I do not know how long that bonus stays in the deal. But if you have been watching these videos and thinking, this could be my season, that is the move. Link in the description below, QR code on screen. Make this the year. The drag trail with diluted ammonia lasts roughly 48 hours in average fall conditions, compared to 8 to 12 hours for commercial urine in a water-based carrier. Ammonia penetrates organic material more deeply and evaporates more slowly than the volatile compounds in fresh urine. A drag trail, which is a scent trail you create by dragging a saturated cloth along the ground behind you on the walk to your stand, made with diluted ammonia on a cotton rope, remains detectable to a deer's nose for 24 to 48 hours. The same trail, made with commercial urine, washes out in the first rain. In the upper Midwest and Appalachian states, where October rain hits 2 to 3 days per week, that difference determines whether your drag trail is still working when the buck crosses it at 7 a.m., or whether the rain at 2 a.m. washed it into nothing. Diluted ammonia also works as a boot spray for the entry walk. Apply the 1 to 10 solution to your boot soles before the walk-in. Using a small spray bottle, your boot trail deposits a chemical signal that reads as a doe that walked through, not a human. Combined with 2 to 3 drops of interdigital gland lure, which is a commercial product that mimics the scent deposited by the glands between a deer's toes with every step on the same boots, your entry trail becomes a complete doe footfall sequence. A buck that crosses this trail during the morning's first movement may follow it toward your stand instead of continuing in his original direction. The entry trail that was a liability becomes an attractant. I tested the boot spray method on my Mississippi Delta property, that flat bottomland hardwood country along the Yazoo River, where the pin oaks and water oaks stand in black clay soil, and the deer trails run between the high ground ridges. Over 3 weeks of evening hunts in late October, I had 2 bucks follow my treated entry trail toward the stand. One came within 35 yards, roughly the distance across a tennis court, before the wind shifted, and he caught my scent from the stand. The other followed the trail to within 60 yards, roughly the distance from home plate to the pitcher's mound, then veered off toward a doe group at the field edge. Neither produced a shot, but both confirmed that the boot spray trail was pulling bucks in my direction instead of away from it. Ammonia, in warm early season conditions, above 60 degrees Fahrenheit, actually performs better than commercial urine, not worse. Commercial urine degrades faster in heat because bacteria break down the urea compounds within hours of application. The biological signals that make fresh urine attractive become unrecognizable by mid-afternoon on a warm October day. Ammonia is thermally stable. Its volatility increases slightly with temperature, meaning it becomes more detectable to deer noses in warm conditions. A hunter using commercial doe urine at 70 degrees is applying a product that may be inactive within 2 to 3 hours. The same hunter using diluted ammonia has an attractant that remains chemically active and increasingly volatile as the afternoon warms. Early season in the south, where temperatures in October regularly hit 75 to 80 degrees, is where ammonia has the biggest advantage over commercial products. The compound I promised at the beginning that completes the biological signal is interdigital gland lure. Natural deer urine deposits at a scrape contain both urea compounds, which is what the ammonia replicates, and interdigital gland secretions from the deer standing there. A scrape treated with diluted ammonia alone replicates the urine signal, but not the footfall signal. Adding 2 to 3 drops of interdigital gland lure from brands like Wildlife Research Center at $8 per bottle or Smokey's Deer Lure at $10 per bottle to the soil around the scrape, in addition to the ammonia, produces a complete picture. A doe stood here. She urinated. Both signals are present. The combination is more compelling than either component alone because it replicates the full biological event rather than just one compound. I cannot store the ammonia and the gland lure in the same bottle because the ammonia degrades the protein-based gland compounds on contact. They go on separately, one in the scrape dirt, the other in the soil around the scrape. 2 bottles in the pack, under $12 total for a full season. Where this does not work is on pressured properties where commercial urine has been applied heavily for years. On those properties, mature bucks have associated any urine-type chemical signal at a scrape with hunting pressure. The ammonia reads as urine. The bucks have learned that urine at a scrape means a human placed it there. On those properties, back off the ammonia and use only the interdigital gland lure applied to boot soles as an entry trail treatment. Skip the scrapes entirely. The bucks on that ground are scrape educated, and no chemical signal at a scrape, commercial or homemade, is going to fool them until the rut overrides their caution temporarily. The cost comparison over a career tells a story that should make every hunter reconsider the scent aisle. 10 years of commercial doe urine at an average of $120 per season costs $1,200. 10 years of diluted ammonia at $3 per season costs $30. The savings of $1,170 buys a Matthews Phase 4 bow at $1,200, give or take. The deer at the scrape responded the same way to both products in my testing. The only difference was which bottle I opened and how much money stayed in my pocket. If you have tested ammonia on mock scrapes and your results contradict mine, leave your data below. Next time we are covering the 5 mock scrape locations that produce the most buck investigations per season and how to identify them on any property without a single camera. The $3 gallon is under your sink right now. Dilute it. Apply it to bare ground. Let the chemistry do the work. The deer do not read labels. They read molecules. A mock scrape network of 4 to 5 scrapes along a 200-yard corridor, roughly 2 football fields, activated with diluted ammonia, creates the impression of multiple doe activity points. Refresh every 5 to 7 days with 3 to 5 fresh drops per scrape. Store the diluted solution in a sealed spray bottle in the refrigerator between hunts. The refrigerated solution maintains its concentration all season without any degradation. Prepare the full season supply in one batch in August. 1 gallon of ammonia diluted to 10 gallons of solution fits in a standard 2.5-gallon garden sprayer, but you only need roughly a quart per season for a 5 scrape network. Total cost for a complete season's 5 scrape program refreshed weekly for 12 weeks is under $5. The commercial equivalent runs $180 to $240. My buddy on the Virginia property did the math and said the savings over 5 years would cover a new Matthews bow. His wife asked why he had not done the math sooner. She had a point. A whitetail's 297 million olfactory receptors process ammonia as a communication signal, because ammonia is what every deer urine deposit becomes within hours. The bottle it came from is information that only you care about. The deer cares about the molecule, the concentration, and the location. Give it the right molecule at the right concentration, in the right place, and it will investigate. The $3 gallon is under your sink. Dilute it 1 to 10. Apply it to bare ground. Let the chemistry do what 28 years of commercial purchases could not. Mix 1 batch this weekend. Apply it to 1 scrape. Run a camera on it for 2 weeks. Compare the results to whatever commercial product you used last season on the same setup. The camera will tell you everything you need to know. And when the numbers come back comparable for 2 cents instead of $6, you will understand why this video exists and why nobody with a sponsorship deal could have made it.